Assistant will please call roll.
Johnson. Black.
Here.
Blair. Here. Pokrzywinski. Grinde. Helms.
Here.
Hecht.
Here.
Okay, you've got a quorum.
Okay. We'll start with the approval of minutes of the November 5th, 2020 regular meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Okay. Moving on to bills and communications. These are just all review of accounts payable for October 20th, November 4th, November 17th, and December 1st. So if there's any questions on those, we do not need approval for any of those. Don't see any questions on any of those. So if not, we'll move on to reports. Delinquencies update.
We have no delinquencies.
Okay. Financial reports for October.
Okay, that would be me. Thank you, Justin. Everybody was sent the October activity for the EDA accounts. The packet has a cash activity. Everything was normal activity for month to month. If there's any questions of me or the cash balances of anything, nothing unusual.
Any questions from anybody for Carla?
And the dollars we did give out to businesses was out of CARES dollars that was funneled through the city. So they are not in any of these EDA accounts.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Director's report.
The work was largely COVID-focused. Information that we got and shared with businesses in particular. We're running the grant programs and doing the weekly updates from the state and providing information. And a couple times during the month, the state actually gave webinars as opposed to doing updates. So it's been sharing that information with the businesses and yourselves as well. Do I see Mr. Johnson online? Or who? I can't
Carla.
see. Top left?
That's you.
Oh, sorry.
So have all of the CARES funds checks gone out then?
Yes, we were required to have distributed the money by no later than November 15th, and we met the deadline for distributing the dollars. And Carla, correct me if I'm wrong, but we had no dollars left over.
That's correct. We did not have, we actually overspent for the EDA amount by about $6,000. But then when we talked at the meeting, I said that the city had enough dollars to cover that, and so they did cover that $6,000 over. So we gave out like $506,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Unfinished business, we have none. Moving on to new business, the drone aerials of the East Grand Forks.
The Chamber, in conjunction with the Grand Forks EDC, Altru, and the Convention and Visitors Bureau, did some drone footage. Corey, anytime you're ready, you could please run it.
Hello and welcome to the Greater Grand Forks region. We'd like to give you a brief tour of the place we call home. Bordering the eastern half of the state along the Red River, Grand Forks boasts big city amenities with a small town feel. Home to the University of North Dakota, Siladrone Valley, a rolling river, a world-class healthcare system, and a thriving entrepreneurial ecosystem, we're a region that's 100,000 strong. But besides catching a game at the Ralph Engelstad Arena, biking the 20-mile Greenway, strolling through our downtown shops and restaurants, enjoying concerts and conventions at the Alaris Center, taking in our boutiques, fine dining, outdoor events, and more, you'll find that every cup of coffee, every concert, every delicious dish, craft beer, and shopping spree comes paired with a big, warm Grand Forks smile and a better let you go. Once again, we welcome you to the greater Grand Forks region. Day or night, snowflakes or snow cones, we know you'll love it here. And with that, we better let you go.
It is open source information. There's over 5 hours of drone video. I have talked with Barry about the possibility of having something that's focused on East Grand Forks that we can put onto our website as well. But we've been dealing with other issues before we get to that, obviously. Bless you. There's over 30 locations shown in the two cities. And you saw the Restaurant Row shown on there, okay? So it was shot with the intent to be an overview of the community as a community tour, and this is just the first product that's being put together out of here. If there's any cost for doing any of this, I will let you know, but I do not anticipate any major costs.
What is does that designated plan for the video we just saw? What is that being used for?
That is a general community tour to help people know what it's like in the community.
My only issue is that you had to, I don't even know if I heard them say East Grand Forks.
I did not hear them say, and that's part of why I'm talking to Barry about making sure that seeing if we can do something for ourselves as well, because this was paid for by organizations that are largely Grand Forks based, but the Chamber and the Center, the Convention and Visitors Bureau, both have East Grand Forks components. So that's something that I will mention to Barry.
I understand we can't have as much as Grand Forks in a video because they are the bigger guys, but yeah, you wouldn't have known that when you saw Restaurant Row you were in East Grand Forks.
Yeah. I made a note, okay?
Okay.
Barry has another meeting today, otherwise he would have come into this meeting by Zoom too.
But it was fun to watch. It was cool to see the footage.
I like how short it was.
Yes.
It really got the point across on the area and what it's like. And I'm glad that it was done during better weather. So that'll be.
Okay, moving on for new business to loans to businesses affected by Executive Order 20-99 for interest rates and terms.
Earlier this year, we talked about loan programs, and we did some special programs. The question is, for businesses now, and I have to make decisions sometimes, glasses or mask, okay. The question is, do we want to reinstitute some of these programs, maybe with smaller loan amounts, but have the same kinds of terms, or what do we want to do something? We had spent $198,000 of the $300,000 that we had dedicated to the program, so there was still over $100,000 left, and this may supplement anything that's being done on other levels to help the businesses. So it's an item for discussion. I don't know what you want me to do. Let me know what your thoughts are.
I think if we have money left available that we didn't use the first time around, that we highly consider looking at opening it back up, whether we have to reduce the amounts because of using a big portion of the money. But I don't know if most of you have already seen, but the article in the paper, and it's been all over Facebook, of a local restaurant that already said that if things don't happen for them, they're going to be closing, and they were a brand new restaurant to town. Mm-hmm. I think with this round of closures, miraculously, the people that made it through the first time are really struggling to be able to make it through this one. So if we've got the funds available, I'd like to open it up and make it available to those people that could need it.
What were our limits last time?
We had a $20,000 limit. It was a 5-year loan, and it was at 1%, and the first 6 months were deferred. Both interest and payments were deferred.
Mr. President,
Yes.
what funds are we talking about?
IRP.
We have leftover IRP funds from the first go-round that we did the loans up to 20,000, that we didn't use all that money.
Wasn't the IRP funds, that's a separate account. These aren't CARES Act dollars that we were utilizing.
No, that's correct.
So then, have we used this funding source before, or
Yes.
for COVID-related loans?
Yes, this was the funding source we used for the loans in the spring, Ron.
Okay.
Okay?
These were the loans that we did before the CARES Act money was available, that it was a loan, not a grant, at 1%.
Thank you.
And we used how much of the first
We
time?
used 198,000, we had set aside 300,000. So there's $102,000 left of the money that we had dedicated for this.
Okay.
I think we should try to do something, especially for the businesses that got hit again with this second round of closures.
Which was mainly just restaurants.
Restaurants, the movie theater,
Yeah.
The gym,
gym.
We're not going to have as many that are going to need to apply for it, but we might still want to scale back the amount.
there are 26 restaurants. So with
One
one
movie
gym
theater?
that I know of, and the one theater, lots of screens, but one theater, do we want to do something like, if we did 5,000 for 26, it'd be 130,000 for the restaurants themselves, plus the other two would make it 140,000, possibly maximum.
Have we received applications from all 26 restaurants for our other programs?
No.
Okay.
And remember, I will cite one restaurant right now, Mike's Pizza. Remember, we deferred the rent payments. They are, as of this month, they are caught up with all of their rent payments.
Fantastic.
So that's fantastic. So some restaurants may not need this. Some may need.
I've also heard Sickies have said that they've been very, very fortunate, and the people's support has been incredible.
Good.
We have 26 restaurants?
Yes, we do. I have the list. That includes things like the Eagles, American Legion.
Okay. Well, it just kind of doesn't compute.
Yeah, we had 25, and it went up to 26 because Joe's Diner opened.
Do a loan and say, up to 10,000, and then if we get a lot of applicants, we can drop it back down to something more reasonable, so we're at that correct amount of money that we set aside for this.
What I'm thinking something along the same lines, Daniel, is let's see how many applicants we have, and then see, we can take the amount of money and divide it one into the other and see how close we can meet to the need. It might be 7,500 or whatever. I don't know, but we won't know until we talk to the restaurants and get information back from the restaurants and the other affected users, affected businesses.
I mean, for me at this point, I'm all for using the money. I just, without garnering more information from interest and need out there, I don't know exactly the best way to deploy those funds to those people and to those businesses. And that's kind of the information I'd like to have, and I don't want to put us into a box and just say, well, it's going to be this amount. I'd like to be able to at least discuss it and then maybe determine from there.
Okay. Other thoughts?
I was thinking along the same lines of having, we set a dollar amount with the opportunity to change it if they ask for more, due to the fact that if we don't get as many applications, so we have more money available, and some of those could use those additional funds that applied right away, that we have the ability to increase it to that if we don't get the applications. I think the need is there. You know, like I said, with the article that was in the Herald today with Joe's Diner, with a brand new business in town, they're begging the community for help to be able to just keep the doors open. They don't want to shut the doors. And I've talked to a few other restaurant owners, and they're in the same boat. You know, you can only do so much takeout. Takeout doesn't sustain a restaurant.
It doesn't sustain the things like Restaurant Row. A McDonald's or a Burger King that has, or pizza.
But they're
Domino's
geared
pizza.
for, that's what they're made for.
They're geared for that.
Right.
It's different. So our total field will probably go down because the restaurants, and that the list of 26 restaurants actually includes the takeout restaurants. Okay?
So I don't know, do we need you to put something together for us, Paul, and then we have to have a special meeting that we're not waiting until January to be able
They need
to
the money
approve
now.
something?
We need to move on it now, I think.
I believe so. The sooner the better.
You want to meet next week again?
I would think so. We have a loan committee that can get together and put together thoughts for recommendation, correct?
Sure. Yes. The information may go out late to you because it's tight deadline, but you'll get it. Okay?
Okay, do we have anything else on the interest rates and terms on that?
Nope.
On the loans?
I
So
wanted
are
to bring it up.
Are we scheduling a meeting for next Tuesday?
I think that the president, Pokrzywinski, will actually have to make the formal announcement, but I will, after what we've done now, I've talked with Mike in the past, and he's looked at the agenda before the agenda goes out. Mike and Brenda and I all look at the agenda to see if there's anything missing or should be added. And Mike was amenable to talking about this and finding ways to deal with this, too.
Okay.
I have one more question on loans items. Maybe not exactly to this, but are we, when it comes to the loans that we have out for businesses and stuff, are we planning on continuing to work with them? I don't remember exactly what we did, if we deferred all the interest for those loans for a period of time, or I'm just wondering if there needs to be a discussion on that again, if we need to look at doing that.
We deferred, upon request, we deferred the interest and payments for a period of up to 6 months. I try to remember if we have any loans. We have 1 or 2 loans to restaurants, but and think we now have a loan to the theater. So there aren't very many loans out to businesses that are closed under this current order, but we can look at that as well. And maybe when the loan committee meets and discusses, that's a topic to discuss as well.
I would appreciate if they would look into that too, and just see if there's any of the current loans that we have out there, if they'd recommend maybe doing another deferral, and what period of time for some of these businesses that are closed.
Are you talking about the 1% loan that we did the first time around too, or are you just talking about our regular EDA
I'm talking
loans?
about the regular loans that we had done previous, because I thought we had done a deferral on those.
Yep.
Maybe I'm wrong.
We did. We did not. We only had about 2 or 3 loans that did that, Daniel. So, and I'm going through my mind right now. I can think of two of the potential group in this group who are closed. The rest of the businesses who have loans have stayed open and are making their payments. Okay?
Well, I'm just thinking that going forward, maybe that might be another avenue at which we can help the businesses.
Well,
It's tough time.
what we can,
It'd be nice if the loan committee could explore that as well.
well, what we can do is make sure that everybody knows that if they have a loan with us, we're open to discussing if they have problems for payment, but we're always open to discuss that anyway.
Well, to kind of piggyback on that too, when did the 6-month deferral end for the payments for the first go-around of these loans that we did?
It's about January 1st.
So
Roughly December 1st, January 1st, in that range.
to kind of extend on what Daniel's talking about, I would like the loan committee to also explore the option of potentially deferring the payments on that maybe a little bit longer. Maybe that'll help that some of these restaurants don't have to come for additional funds if they know that the loan that was going to kick in that they had to start paying can be deferred a little bit longer.
Well, like I said, the restaurants and other businesses affected by the most recent closure, there are only, I think, 2 who have loans with the city, with the EDA.
But we're
No,
talking
I'm
that-
talking about the first go-around of the 1%, 20,000 that we
I
did.
understand that. The second go-round was focused on restaurants. We can look at those too, yes. I understand what
That's
you're
right, we
saying.
did do
Yeah.
2 rounds.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would rather see us on the loan that they have push those payments off a little further right now rather than
Yeah, they haven't worked for a while.
coming for more money
We just tried.
that we're going to make available.
Okay.
That works better, but.
No, I'll look at all those,
Okay,
see when. Okay.
thank you. Okay, moving on to new business item C, what we must achieve to have a successful 2021.
With the EDA, what would you say we have to accomplish next year to be successful?
I would say to continue what we've tried to do this whole year and keep as many businesses in business as possible in our city. I mean, obviously, we want to grow and bring business to town, but it's not ideal growth situations right now where everything we can continue to do to keep businesses from having to close is, I would call, successful.
Other things?
I think our main goal is, again, as Justin said, is to make sure we can keep what we have. It's always nice to bring new stuff into town, but I got a feeling this whole 2021 is going to be a year of just trying to get through what we've been going through. Because I don't think it's going to end tomorrow by no means, and nobody does. So I think let's just try and work and help what we have now, and then hopefully at least halfway through maybe 2021, things will straighten out a little bit more. That would be great if it did. Nobody knows, but so yeah, I think I'd agree. Let's just maintain and take care of what we have, and be satisfied with that. I think so.
Along with that, I think we should look at the legislature. I mean, what can we do either with our Minnesota legislature or even with our federal senators and representatives to make, with a whole new administration coming in, what's that going to mean on the federal level for taxes for our businesses, and really talk, be proactive for our businesses going, hey, they can't afford any more. We can't change their tax rate. I mean, if there's any tax breaks we can give them, I mean, it's going to be a tough year. They're catching up, and that's hard.
There was some good news. This is the state of Minnesota budget forecast. Instead of forecasting a deficit, was forecasting that they would have more money than they expected. So there would be a surplus. So that's good news. It'll be interesting. The next forecast will be in early next year. I think it's in February. but the last one said something like $600 million on surplus was projected right now.
I think we need to work with our new representative. I mean, we'd had Colin for so many years. We kind of knew where he stood. He knew us. Having someone in that place new, we now need to make sure they're aware of the issues up in upper northwest Minnesota. It's a big region that they have to represent.
It's a large part of the state, yes.
Yep, and we're just a little tiny quirk up here in the corner.
But the most important.
I think so, but, you know.
Well, I'm hoping this meeting tomorrow night that we're having with our state representatives, that we'll be able to get a little more feeling of some of that stuff, and maybe, hopefully we can, I'm hoping something good comes of it tomorrow night. I know it's not going to be a miracle, but I'm hoping tomorrow night something good comes of.
I don't think everybody knows about the meeting tomorrow night.
Yeah, okay.
There's a meeting tomorrow night that the mayor, Senator Johnson, Representative Keel, and business owners are getting together to discuss the most current closure and what has to be done, and is being done now because it can be done prior to the next special session. So they can go down with our thoughts. Representative Keel and Senator Johnson can carry our thoughts fresh in their minds down to the next special session that's going to be going on. There have been negotiations going on regarding what can be done for businesses because of the short deadline that was done. The state has admitted that the short deadline caused a lot of damages to businesses, and there are a lot of businesses throughout the state who have been complaining about what occurred the last time, because it just really, it was a big week for them, and they had already made their orders, and they were closed with all the food on hand. What do you do with the food when you've ordered it for Thanksgiving meals? So there's a lot going on, negotiations between the governor and the legislature. The governor has put forth a program that he thinks needs to be done. We'll see how the legislature responds to that. But the meeting tomorrow night will be at 5:30. Dale is going to be participating because he's a business owner that's been affected as well, as being an EDA member and city council member. So he gets it in 3 different areas. But it's a way to let our state officials, our locally elected state officials, know what our expectations are. Okay? Is there anything the EDA wants to give us a message, or do whatever you have to support our businesses? Dale, tomorrow we'll talk about that.
The what?
Tomorrow we will mention the EDA says do whatever you have to support local businesses. Okay. Daniel, have anything to add to that?
Just in terms of what to be successful in 2021, my thoughts are we need to continue to be as flexible as possible through these closures and through the pandemic. I think, Paul, reaching out to businesses that you have goes a long way. I think all of us have probably been talking to business owners all over the community just to find out, what they need and what they're looking for, and I think we need to continue doing that. And then on the other side of stuff too is just continue to be very clear with the policy messages that we come out with. I think that's one of the biggest strengths I've seen in the last 2 years from the EDA, and I think we need to continue with that, is those policy decisions when things come up, sitting around and discussing it and making clear what our intentions are and what the expectations will be. So pretty much it for me.
Thank you. Mr. Vice President.
Paul, I have a question. So what do you think, Paul, that we need to do to be successful, and how we can help you with that?
I think what we need to do is continue to do whatever we can to help the businesses and help them survive what they're going through right now, so we can have a strong local economy as we come out of this. That means whenever we talk with a business, is that we send the same message, that we're here to help. And we'll try to find ways to help within the limits that we have set upon us. I mean, we can't just do everything. There are limits to what we can do. I was also thinking that maybe I need to make sure each of the members here has copies of my business card, or has my business card, so as they talk to a business, that they can give my business card to them as well, so that they can get in touch with us and keep the contacts going. Daniel talked about it specifically, but it's making sure that we continue with those business contacts. We have a pretty extensive list, but I would say we do not have 100%, and I would really like to have 100% of all the businesses. So we just need to find ways to make sure we connect with all the businesses and continue to do that, reaching out and talking and touching. Okay? Those were my thoughts. I wanted confirmation from the board on what their thoughts were and to see if there were other things they thought as well. That's going to be our primary focus until we get through this.
Anything else? If not, then it looks like we need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Same sign. Meeting adjourned.
Were you sending a notice out for